Hey, good afternoon. This is Doug Banfeller of 9 Point Strategies. I'm here on the floor of the NCIA Business Summit. It's the 6th annual, and I happen to have the pleasure of having Executive Director of the NCIA, Aaron Smith, here for a conversation. Aaron, thanks for coming.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having this event. Good show so far. Floor's been busy for us. There's been high value contact, so we really appreciate
That's
that.
what I want to hear.
And we appreciate all that you do for the industry. So lobbying is your reason for being, and you've had some successes recently, and you're working on some things I know in the future, of course. So if you would, tell us the story. Tell us what's going on now with NCIA.
Yeah, so NCIA is, of course, the trade association that represents the whole industry across the country. And as you said, the reason really that we founded this organization was to advocate for the industry's interests on Capitol Hill. And there has been more progress on the Hill in these last few months this year than really almost ever in our history. And a lot of that is a result of the Democratic majority in the House. We're getting hearings, we're getting votes.
But even with that, and so having worked for an elected official for 10 years and following politics, I appreciate what you're saying, but what I've really been encouraged about is that now it's become a bipartisan issue. And so we're getting support from all quarters now.
Yeah, it is a bipartisan issue, and we're seeing, especially when you look at something like the Safe Banking Act, which would resolve this banking crisis that the industry faces. That's just such a common sense issue that we had a hearing on that just yesterday, and
That's right.
none of the Republicans except the chair, Crapo, even showed up to the hearing. So they're at a point where a lot of them maybe don't want to be.
They still need cover.
Vocally out front, but they're not showing up to oppose the issue because they know that it's
a public safety issue. I mean, it's a business issue for people in the industry, and it's a public safety issue for everyone else.
Right.
So it's a common sense thing, and I appreciate the fact, being from a red state, Arizona, we've had some successes in Arizona at our local level, and what we've seen is that the Republicans are responding to public sentiment, which in large part is resulting from your years of advocacy and putting your shoulder to that wheel and pushing it up the hill. So now, how is momentum building? We've safe banking, and that's a key element, of course. And what else do you see coming up on the horizon then that is a common sense everyday issue for the businesses and for the public?
Well, another really big victory that we had in the House was a resounding vote for the Blumenauer-McLintock amendment to the DOJ spending bill, which would essentially tell the Department of Justice that they cannot enforce federal marijuana prohibition in states that have some kind of a legal framework.
And so Dana Rohrabacher and some others had a rider attached for years, correct?
That only addresses medical cannabis. So this one is expanded to adult use as well. The previous Congress has not taken that issue up since 2015 because of the Republican leadership not allowing votes on cannabis issues. So, So that was passed, a really big win in the House. We still have an uphill battle in the Senate. It's Republican-controlled Senate, but I think we have a shot at that this year, getting this into the federal budget.
Thank you for that. We appreciate those efforts. It occurs to me that medical polls at what, 90%?
Yeah, it's
the Pope does not poll at 90%.
Right.
I mean, the public support is overwhelming. But there are pockets of resistance, as you said. So, what is happening then in regards to the different state legislatures? Is there some influence NCIA has there?
We work with our allied associations in the states. So
MITA in Arizona as well.
MITA in Arizona, for example,
CCIA,
the Arizona Dispensary Association.
Right.
Those are part of our allied association program, and CCIA here in California. And then we kind of leave the locals to do the lobbying, but NCIA also, through our policy council, is there to create standards and policy recommendations for state, local,
best practices
and federal.
And template legislation, kind of like ALEC. American Legislative Exchange Council, right, which does that for mostly Republicans, and I think that's a key thing, right, because as lobbyists, part of your job is essentially one of the strongest things you bring is language that can be adopted, right? So templates and language, because legislators are not experts, and that's so much of what you do is lobbying and educating, really, as lobbying is educating, and it's educating legislators on the finer points of your bills. Right. So are you finding that are veteran legislators warming up now a little bit too? I mean, regardless of their party affiliation. I mean, because we've had Democrats. Jerry Brown was not a big fan of cannabis, as we know.
Right. I mean, well, we certainly have seen, this issue has swept across the country because of the public opinion.
Right.
On medical cannabis is now a no-brainer for.
Sure.
No matter what party you're in and what state you're in, for the most part, we only have 3
Utah,
states.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right.
We have 3 states without any kind of medical cannabis program.
That's it.
Only 3 states.
Just 3 states.
Yeah, and that's including the limited CBD only bills that that have been enacted. That I wouldn't call them effective laws, but they're attempting to
something on the books that goes in the right direction.
Sure. So NCIA is embarking on a tour of a lot of those red states next month. We're going to be doing our industry social events throughout the Midwest and places like Missouri and Oklahoma and Texas to really kind of galvanize the industry.
Those were the quarterly caucuses?
The industry social is
industry social.
Kind of a new event that we rolled out this year.
Oh, very good. Has the response to that been good?
Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine. Yeah, so I know we have an office in Chicago, and our Chicago boys are looking forward to being at your event there.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there next month.
That sounds great. So there you have it, from Aaron Smith, Executive Director of the NCIA. Thanks so much,
All right,
Aaron.
thank you.
Great to see you again.
Thanks.
Take care.
Absolutely.
I imagine. Yeah, so I know